Hey, welcome to Measure and Mix. This is my very first video, so thanks for joining. I am a DIYer, stay-at-home mom, and I love Pinterest, Instagram, other YouTube videos. I watch them all the time. So I just wanted to share my experience with you. The video today is I'm redoing my craft room in my basement, and I took out the carpet that was down there and I painted the concrete floor and stenciled it. So I'm going to show you how I did that. If you want to see any other videos, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna have an organizational video and the reveal of my whole craft room and everything organized soon. So yeah, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, bye. I am going to attempt to paint the first coat on before I stencil it. So I have here, I have a Valspar Porch Floor and Patio Latex paint. It's in white, and that is going to be my base color is white. I don't know how many coats I'll need since this side is brown, this side is gray. I'll probably have to do a couple coats to make sure it's all even. And then let's see, I have here tape to tape off the carpeted doorway, the areas and the doorways over there, just to make sure I have clean lines. There's a door over here. There's lots of doors in this room, and I don't really do much. So I have blue tape, paintbrush probably for the edges. This is just a cheap paintbrush that I'll just go around. I'll probably do the edges first, and then I have a roller, just this regular roller, 9-inch, got it from Home Depot, I think. It was just in my garage, so I'm gonna use it. Then the actual roller, and then I have a stick to attach the roller to, so that way I don't have to sit down. I can stand up and roll it. And then of course my paint tray and my liner to paint in, and my little key thing to open up. So I am gonna get started. This is the white base paint that I used. All in all, I put on 3 coats of paint just to make sure that the brown was covered and the cracks were covered and all the spots on the floor were covered. Probably wouldn't need that many coats, just 2 would be okay, but I needed 3. The Valspar Porch Floor and Patio paint again in the latex paint in the gray, and it's in the light gray. And I just decided to just make it easy, and instead of getting, because I've seen people where they've tinted, they've gotten colors in the porch and floor stuff, but they've tinted it, and yeah, I just said, since my walls are gray and it didn't really make a difference, so I just got the light gray and went with it. I have this little small paintbrush roller that I'm gonna use for the stencil. So I have that in a little tray. And then here's the stencil I'm using. It's a cutting edge stencil, Augusta tile stencil. Here is the stencil, and that's what I'm gonna be doing all over the room. basically what I've done here is I started at one end of the room, in the middle of the room, and I worked a line of stencils all the way down to the other side of the room. I rolled my paint in the tray, and then I offloaded it onto a paper towel so that it would get all the excess paint off, and because you don't want it to bleed through the stencil. Then here I am taking the stencil off and I'm kind of cleaning it off. And you kind of want to do that every 3 or 4 times. I didn't. The stencil is pretty forgiving, so if you don't really care too much, then you can just go. But you will get a little extra on there. It's hardly noticeable, but you will get a little bit. But then I just put it back and lined it up with the last stencil that I did. It's pretty easy to line up. And you just keep going until you get to the end of the wall. After I got to the end of the wall with the one row, all I did was take my stencil back up to the beginning of my first row, and I started doing another row, and actually did 2 more rows at the same time, and then worked my way down to the other side of the wall. I probably loaded my roller about every 3 to 4 stencils. You probably don't need to load it this much, probably 5 or 6 after 5 or 6 stencils, but just depends on how dark or light you want it. But you just want to make sure that you are not bleeding through the other side, so you want to make sure you always off-roll that roller. It's important. And here you see my son. He is decided to come in and help me and eat pizza and watch me while I do this for a few minutes. But yeah, it goes pretty quick. It took me probably a total of, I would say, 4 hours to stencil the whole room. I did not stencil the outside edge. I waited till the next day to do that, gave it a whole day to dry, and then I went back in and I stenciled the outside edge. I do want to mention that if you make a mistake, you can fix it. I did make a mistake, yet you can't see that in this video. I don't think I got a video of it. But if you do, just take the stencil off and have an extra little roller, a mini roller like I had here to stencil, but use your white paint or whatever base color that you're using, and just roll over that stencil that you messed up. And then let it dry, and then you can go back and re-stencil it later on after it's dry. Okay, I waited till the second day, like I said, to go and do the outside edges and the corners of my room. I think it's best to do that and wait till you get the full tiles done, just because there's a chance that you might rip or tear your stencil a little bit because you're kind of placing it up the wall and around corners and stuff and tight spaces. I did rip mine, however, it was fine. I was still able to use it. I taped one spot, and I think it turned out well. Anyways, so it wasn't a big deal. These stencils are pretty forgiving. if you make a mistake or mess up or whatever. I mean, this is not perfect. I'm a DIYer, so it worked out good for me. Also, you can see that I stenciled my baseboards too. So make sure you tape your baseboards off well, or take your baseboards off altogether before you do the edges, just if you don't want to have to go back and clean them, because I had to go and clean them, but I was taking them off anyways to push them down, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was one step I should have done in the beginning to save me a little bit of time. Okay, so I am done painting, stenciling the floor. I got all to the corners as far as I could possibly go. And then I moved the baseboards down so that way it wouldn't look so weird, because it did look weird. But I love it, it looks great. So now it has been about 3.5 days, and I have this Seal-Krete Clear Seal Concrete Protective Sealer in satin, because I didn't want a high gloss finish, so I got the satin, just because I didn't want it shiny. I liked the dullness of it. So anyways, this is what I got. And it's for interior, exterior. Basically it just seals the concrete. And it's supposed to be non-yellowing. So I'm just gonna paint it on like I did the white with the roller. I have my roller, I have my thing, and I have my stick, and I have a set of gloves. I'm gonna edge around, do the edges first, and then I'm gonna roll it all. And yeah, then I will be done. The only thing that will be left to do is this threshold right here, which I will do that probably in a couple days, because this says it takes, you can recoat it after 2 hours. But I think it says dry to touch in 15 minutes, recoat in 2 hours. If you're gonna do 2 coats, it says you only need 1, but then it's dry to foot traffic in 24 hours. So I'm doing this late afternoon today on Thursday. So I might do the other thing tomorrow. I might just wait until this weekend, so that way I don't ruin it at all. But I'm really happy with it, the way it looks. I think it came out really good. And here we go. Let's put the sealer on it. Okay, I did end up putting 2 coats of sealer onto the floor, waiting 2 hours in between. It was dry after 24 hours, and I could walk on it and put all my stuff back. And then I installed the threshold, and it was complete. And I just love it, and I hope you do too.